Steady and rolling, and we're in! Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us. We are in the first game, Play Day 1. If you missed the bands, Nook, Flores, Zami, and Valkyrie. If you missed the map, Chalet. The other choice was Villa, but TT9 wanted to come here. TT9, if you're unaware, you can do the next bit.
I was going to say, just continue, but yeah, the new organization that has picked up the Russian team, making sure they do not have to worry about the issues they had when they were orgless temporarily. So I'm hoping that it will bring them some freedom, some extra performance that they might be able to bring out during this stage, because they visibly struggle, and that's not something you'd like to see. So I really hope that they get back into their best game now.
Okay, let's start us off here with MNM on their attack, something they're very happy to do, and we're on the top floor as a whole. Box is half hot, half solid. It gives themselves a little bit more of a swing, and that seems to be the idea here. The magical man with his glasses might be the preventative measure against the Ying. The Candela's in the pocket of Nello. Might find themselves coming up a bit of ground very quickly. It depends on the MNM push. We've obviously got the line heading towards double window potentially. No, rotates around to the fireplace door. The stretch of Nico and Exodus towards the other side of the map is going to be something that MNM might need to pay attention to, as Solotov is busy underneath the stair set to drive that player out.
Yeah, they just want to put that pressure from both the windows and from underneath, which means that if a grenade gets tossed in, they'll either be forced to flee downstairs and be picked up by the player in the big garage, or to try and push up as a result. And that gunfight is about to be taking place right here. WTG gets the spot out, but Solotov unable to connect any shots himself.
Now, a little bit more quick pressure here towards those windows. The double setup with those ADSs, that's why they try and force the pressure from underneath here. WTG, you don't want to put as much utility round on the swing, hit those ADSs, but it's Tyrant that goes down first. The E1D is going to keep him alive just for a second. Scyther wants to go for another swing. He's waiting for the sound of the crawl. Fires a little bit too high. Concerned about someone on the long overwatch. It's a drop. Tyrant should be safe. It depends how wide he goes for this crawl, if they're trying to get the cover and the timing of the potential swing round here. Solotov is the man that's going for the recollection. Pulled himself out of the garage wall. He's going to have to pay some focus and attention elsewhere. Again, concerned of the swing round. You can see they've kept themselves just tucked under that balcony window, but that's a minute 30, and their main driving force has been pulled out of position and suddenly under pressure here from the swing round onto West Main.
They definitely knew someone just got picked up there, and WTG just had a minute to spare. It's going to be the Candelas. They're about to be rolling in right here, but I believe that's a shotgun ready to engage Nello if they do go a bit too aggressive. The ping comes through as C4 will detonate as well and fight Neo on its way out.
That's it. The first pick goes the way of TT9, and now they're going to see if they can just, again, keep this staircase solid. You can see how much MNM's dedicated to try and get rid of the player. They finally find him. Usus is able to get that just on the loose play round underneath, but 50 seconds. They still have to do a lot of the structural work onto the site itself. Tyrant, he's back on these windows, trying to put the pressure. That was the wrong sort of explosion. Doesn't quite get the full pop. But here, the three remaining other players, they're eyeing up the chance to push up the staircase. There's the catch on the flank drone. Exodus pulling himself all the way around on the other side. Solotov's about to find a fight on this doorway. Does he know how close Exodus is? The spot on the red dot. Solotov heading to the ladder itself, but it's Nello that drives through. Does a little bit of scratch damage over towards the bathroom door. Exodus, he's missed his moment to catch out Solotov.
Definitely missed out. Nello will be picked up from the staircase, and that leaves it in a 2v3 situation. The diffuser is down. Solotov picked up on the side as well. Only up to Tyrant now. 1v3, 7 seconds. Needs to find a lot of bodies, but will find none. Scyther shuts him down with a 416, and that's going to be the first round for TT9.
A bit slow from MNM, a bit cautious. They put a lot into getting control of Solarium Stairs. They put a lot into paying some attention underneath and didn't really get anything from it. Obviously, Tyrant suffered elsewhere.
Yeah.
Not sure if he was trying to make an approach onto Scyther on the top of the blue stairs, or he was just swung out. Unfortunately, it puts him in this tricky position, though, where you're sort of thinking, who was going to be that first lead in for MNM? A problem that they used to have a fair bit before on their slower days.
Yeah, for sure. And for a while, you know, you had Tyrant always stepping up, massive, but the last stage he has been kind of quiet. Started to come alive again throughout those last couple of games, but we kind of need that again. We need that spearhead or three that we talked about so often to be alive. Solotov uses Tyrant. They need to be taking that together and make sure that they pull MNM across the finish line here. And if we just look back at that last round, you said it before, they lost a lot of time with Tyron going down. They had to send someone over to go for the recovery onto that window. That left WTG without any pressure, just from the window, but you can deal with that. Now, it's only because he tried to rotate out that he got picked up as a spawn peek is attempted. But somehow Nella will come out on top.
There was two. There was seemingly a fight that happened slightly elsewhere as well. Tyrant, he was almost the first off the board in the previous round. He was the lock-in here on the second, but the trade-off is against Emission. And sure, you've removed a couple of things out of the pockets of Tyrant, but you've also taken out those discs. Any cancellation is almost the trade-off as to what they might have been able to catch by the takeoff of that player. Still 2 grenades left though. Neo obviously has the chance to try and cause some devastation, and all the flashes and smokes need to burn it through. MNM though, you've got the first, and I like this little bit more pace and pressure they're applying towards the top of the stair set.
They have the opportunity now as well. They can just shoot in these gun sixes because they know there can only be one Magnet at that moment in time because he already went for that spawn peak. There's nothing else on the board currently. No Jaeger to catch up any of these projectiles. So, MNM, they have a bit of free reign right now. Can start to put up some damage towards the side, around the side, and other pieces of utility that have in place, like you've just seen. The Twitch drone now doing the exact same job as well. And MNM trying to put up that pressure, but they know they need to take control of the library first.
Wow, there's a bit of a steady watch, and obviously with the Dokkaebi, they've got control of the cams internally as well, so they've been able to get the read on the player that's on the top of blue stairs. It's being pushed a little bit further ahead. They take it and remove it. It's a swing round. Nico suffers with a scratch, goes for the fight back, but takes a little bit more for it. He's tucked and close and in danger. There's the bounce of the first grenade. Doesn't quite get the full reveal. WTG gets the follow-up though. Solotov taken off the board, pushed his way up the blue stairs, offered the support that he could. And now MNM, they've been, I guess, once again a bit blindsided.
Was kind of losing some time right here. Uses puts out a player, but takes a lot of damage himself. Neo tries to hop in. He needs to put up that pressure. They need to try and attack from two sides at the same time, but Nico just swings him, takes him out. Users will be picked up next. It's only up to Nello. He will find a first with the MK14, but needs to find 3 more. The phone call will give him a bit of security. Knows where these players are, but as he jumps in for the Frostmat, it's the C9 that will eventually pick him up, and TT9 with yet another round on the board.
It's one of the things Fresh said on the desk was he's curious to see what their game is because the game's got to be good. I don't know if I'm still ready after a couple of rounds to say this is a good game from TT9, but I think this is a bit of a sloppy game here from MNM. The response there from TT9 was fantastically put together. As soon as the player hopped in, they had the reveal.
Yeah.
They'd just gotten themselves tucked onto library. You suddenly saw Nico able to find that pressure and put it elsewhere. He kept himself alive long enough on the fight just before to get some support from the blue stair set. He had a support structure ready and they're utilizing it and responding around it, and this was one of the problems that this roster had last split. They've been able to thread some of this stuff, and MNM, that's 2 rounds on the trot and not much for it.
Well, it's basically the same issues that we've seen on MNM as well. They're slow here a bit, then they get caught up, not really having a way into the site. They try and make an entry happen somewhere, but then completely neglect, for example, those blue staircases where suddenly a player pops up, takes them down, and makes sure that the advantage is there for TT9. So they need to be a bit more precise and disciplined in how they approach this site. Take things one by one. Don't just try and cut right to the middle if you haven't cleared the surroundings yet. Another 3 minutes on the clock here for round 3. It's Nello has brought out Amaru. So we might see some hatch play there. We might see some window play. Who knows? What we do know is that the operator usually brings some form of speed.
Wow, speed might be on the cards. They've got themselves double stacked onto this window. There's a bit of a preemptive pop there just to sort of say we have some awareness. We hear the shuffling, but look at Nello where he's stacked up. There's the break onto the window. Nello's up through the gate. He's able to win out one. Scyther finds Tyrant on the swing, but Neo's inside, and Solotov, he's been able to get one on the backside as well. Suddenly, MNM has executed. It's a 3 versus 1. After the end of it, Exodus, the only one left. The rotate round on the backside of the stairs caught out. You can see they're on the drone hole as well. It's Users. Takes the toes, and if the first 2 rounds was MNM failure to launch, that was straight into space.
They needed to go quick, and that's exactly what they did there. They knew that there was no one around the bathroom area. They had that as a lock-in. Nello coming in from the window as well. You don't really expect it. Usually someone repelled up, takes out the barricade first, then wastes the serial laser gate, but this time it was just a player right on through without any former warning, and that allowed him to get the drop onto the player onto those back stairs, and with that, you find the first initial entries. Now, MNM with one on the board. They need to find more though. You want to get at least an even split out here. Yes, it's the first game off the stage, the quite literal first game of the stage, not just for MNM or TT9, but also of any other team here in Europe. So there might be some jitters, who knows? They need to get those out of the way quickly. In MNM, they need to turn this around if they want to find a victory.
They haven't taken their time out yet, obviously.
Yep.
They still have some chance to build it. But for what people would call a generic and a good on par Chalet half is a 4 attack take. Is
exactly.
A lot more threaded in a row, and they've got to see if they can try and build behind it. The rush strat, that sort of quick pace play, only really works on some of these pocket sites, and it was the tertiary site. Let's see if they can try and bring it on. Well, technically a repeat here. Kitchen is where we're going to go instead of back up to the top floor. They're going to see if they can try and go with something slightly alternate here, and alternate is the push to slower and steadier, and back to Candelas in the pockets.
They need to take slow control. Take the map section by section. Don't just try and cut right to the side. That's what they tried in 2 of the rounds that they have lost so far. So maybe if they play this a bit more, I said it before, discipline. Take out these areas one by one. Work as a team. You might be able to get towards the site more successfully and, you know, with more members left alive to actually try and make stuff happen. And it seems like it will be the top floor that they try and take control of first. Nello wasting some of the serial laser gates, is receiving a smoke canister, but doesn't take any damage yet. We'll know of the player now, though.
That's it. That drone just bounced off the one beam to the top corner. Solotov is curious about somebody coming in behind him. You can see the drone still getting that recon. There's the burn of the flashes. The smoke canister just comes from Force. The player slightly further away. They want to try and get the catch underneath, but he's pre-firing the angle. Solotov's caught a bit unaware. WTG again doing everything he needs to here to try and burn the time and the space. The drone still getting the reveal on the position of the player. Finally removed. The new suppressor changes are starting to show their head as well. And again, it's this decisive game. There it is. Solotov finally able to take care of WTG. Wasted a lot of time for his position though.
Yeah, 90 seconds gone, which leaves 90 left for MNM to get the rest of the top floor and the actual side on the control site. They're looking to retake a little bit here. Needs to be careful as the skeleton key was about to be opening up right underneath him, but he will, you know, fight back a little bit. Emission is still up on the top floor as well. They're waiting for these repellents. They're waiting for the sound cues before they go for the swing. But before they do that on MNM's side, they're first droning everything out. They need to know it's safe and clear to go for it. But as they've just spotted out the Jaeger, they will go for a rotate.
50 seconds. The pressure's coming through onto Trophy itself. They wanted to see if a player would come down the stairs and see if they could replicate the position, but they haven't been gifted that. TT9, though, they lose the next up top. Tyrant with a quick hop in, removes Nico from the board. Suddenly the back of the TT9 defense doesn't look as solid. Exodus, he slips his way back round down the stairs. Now it's not Watch. Looks for the upside down rappel, but it's Emission that gets the open, and the Candelas for the drive over the top itself. He's looking for the fight onto the double window, but MNM's looking for a route in, and it keeps being shut down. Exodus from the hatch up 2 stories to that window is able to remove the player. Emissions move back, watching from above, waiting for the hop in, and with 15 seconds, there is nowhere else for Solotov to go but through the fire and the flames here. Emissions waiting, Neo suffering in a scrap, but gets the lockdown. Gonna see if he can hold F. The cover needs to come through. They're still waiting for that player. Emission wins it out. Tyrant, he's able to get one. They hold F. It gets locked in. MNM.
Well done, Derek. Crucial gunfight one around the dining table, around the kitchen, which allowed the plan to go down as the last 2 members not in a position to stop that from happening. So TT9, they almost managed to bring back that 5v3. MNM just barely edging it out in favor of themselves. And that puts them up on 2. But you mentioned it before. A 4-2 split is considered good. A 3-3 you can still work with to some extent. So they want to get at least 1 more, but preferably 2 or 3 on the side of MNM versus TT9. They might already be content with what they have, but looking and hungry for more either way. We'll be headed towards the bar and gaming room next. That is a site which still haunts me every now and then, because when it was first back introduced, Chalet, we saw NA be very efficient with dealing with EU teams on this side, especially by opening up the pantry wall that leads to the staircase. Suddenly, the entire area is unplayable. I wonder if we get to see something similar as that now from the sides of MNM. There is no dedicated heart breach, but of course the heart breach gadgets could be making its entrance again to fill that role if they would want to go for it, but there's no real need to do it. And indeed, they will not decide to go for it. 2 impact EMPs, though, on the side of Tyrant. That's an intriguing one, considering there is no heart breach. Yet.
Yes. But it's, I mean, the first play, the first run. It's the good thing about having the first play day on the Tier 1 scene. We get to say we got the first one, and that's the first pocket EMP. Will Tyrant get to use them, or will he be the first off the board? Which has happened on some of these rounds. The Lion, the E1D, might be able to do some damage, but it's actually a mission that suffers first. He should be very easily recovered. They looked like they wanted to try the idea of a grenade round there, but it's the pickup through the drone hole. It was beat. No! Just protected by the side of the chassis. Second one! Catches sight there on the swing round. Neo double dipped and was rewarded for it.
Thought it might be clear after the first grenade came through. Well, that wasn't the case at all. But it's going to be the last grenade as well that MNM had, so they at least found a single kill with it. That's an advantage they now need to lock in. A lot of damage done to a mission as well. You need to capitalize on this one, so make sure you clear everything out as decently as you can. But Exodus, he's playing in that dangerous position right there. Onto the mezzanines, could easily swing onto Nello, who's on that window.
Now, what are they going to try and do about rooting out the players on the top? Nico and Exodus have that sustaining relationship here. Tyrant's trying to watch from the double door across Fireplace, but they've actually opted to pull themselves back. That canister is them buying them a second. Solotov looks for a fight elsewhere. Only a single player. No, Nico rotates back up as I say it. Goes to offer some of the support. There's a swing round. There's Nello with a hefty double. Looks for the third just on the swing round. The E1D isn't going to quite get the full catch, but WTG does. And he thinks better of trying to push on that advantage. Tyrant inside the site. WTG on the door of it. Gets the instant response. 2 versus 1. And a minute left on the clock. The calls come through pretty consistently. They have the kit. They have a lot of time. Are they going to hunt the man?
Oh, hacking the cams quickly, see if there's any extra information they can gain from that. Now, Nello has the opportunity to open up that hatch with the MK14, but decides to just descend down these stairs. Join Neo, who's about to go for the drop-in. Frostmat already gone. Neo is inside, is slowly peeking around the corner. They definitely know where he is now. The hatch gets opened up, and that's a drop, but Neo finds him first. MNM find their 3rd round.
I mean, that was it. You're starting to see that side and spark here from MNM. I don't think we saw a pocket EMP. I don't think one was thrown.
No, I mean, it was not.
There was we had our own beep.
I heard the beep as well.
Yeah, it really confused me. I didn't know if
is that a new beep?
Well, I didn't know if that was in the building for a second, and there was like a fire alarm. And
Source Production just adding a new beep for
production loves a new beep. Love throwing a cheeky beep. All right, TT9's tech timeout has been taken. That ties into what I said before. MNM needed 4 rounds to sort of get themselves on par for the course here, but also look at how this game has gone. TT9 were 2 up, and then since then have sort of been pushed aside. They needed to slow down the pace of this game and try and just recollect themselves more than that 4-2 scoreline. But MNM had started to find momentum. They'd started to find a bit of a roll in their energy, and you've got to try and dampen those spirits.
They definitely did that with the start of that rush, and after that being able to pick up 2 extra rounds all in a row. Now, Thatcher on the board.
Classic Thatcher.
Again, no heart breach.
Just a classic Thatcher. What's your reasoning for the Thatcher no heart breach?
ADSs is the only thing I can imagine, or the warding glasses, which then don't activate when flashbangs are used. But there's only 3 flashbangs as well, so I guess it is only for the ADSs, just to make sure that grenades actually reach their destination.
Well, the counterpick on the counterpick. Will it count for this pick as we run through here? The pressure's instantly coming around onto West Main. Seemingly they want to cut off the route round a little bit more flat to the fire this time. They've always put the buck 2 stories under inside the garage. It makes sense. It cuts through a lot of utility without having to cut through the utility. But they seem to have themselves a little bit more stacked up just around here where Tyrant's ready to broach and breach. Will this be the idea of pace? The potential of a Rooney Gates is maybe also why they brought it here. There's the burn through, one either side. There's no gates. There's the ADS. There's the catch. There's the grenade you assume now. And there's the player gone. Perfectly played there. That's why you bring the Thatcher without anybody else behind it other than plucky grenades.
Yeah, well, make sure you don't have to waste any other utility. You don't have to throw in any flashbangs before that grenade can pop off. Because if flashbangs come in, that's going to be the call to move out as the smoke player, because you know a grenade will follow very soon. So, well played there, the double EMP to get rid of all those ADSs, and the grenade kill to open things up. Another opening for MNM. Again, they need to capitalize off this. A 4-2 split is what we consider the default here. So, with that, they have the advantage. They just need to lock it in now.
So here comes that second step that's sometimes been a little bit tough. How do you start the pressure inside the building? Solotov can pull himself away. There is obviously a big soft floor above him towards the bathroom that can start to cut the players, but they're curious about the one currently around onto dining, where they want to isolate the backside. Not sure what that was from the side of Tyrant, but there it is, Nico. Said the dining player was causing them some curiosities. The drone's going to get the reveal on the next. There's now a bit of a fight inside Trophy. Users wants to push it. Somebody's watching him above, though. They're concerned about potentially below. Exodus forced off by the fire. There's the slight reveal, and there's the slip away.
You might well just want to abandon that bottom floor completely now and just try and go for the actual site. EMPs to be tossed in, another grenade to follow up very shortly here for Nala. Will take care of the shield of emission, but not do any damage himself. He sees the head. Wasn't able to quickly respond enough, though. Drone tossed in. Will be giving some extra information, but 20 seconds means they need to be very quick here on the side of MNM.
That's it, more discs, more cover, but there's not really much else outside of just throwing themselves in the fight, and they're trying to do that up the stairs itself. The Solarium's becoming a battleground, but with 10 seconds, it's got to turn into a war. The first goes down, the second is caught out just a little. There it is. Tyrant at least gets some revenge. They're trying to get the diffuser planted. Cover on the box. Can he hold it down? It's a 2 versus 1. The answer's no. TT9 pull themselves level.
An early opening there for MNM, but unable to actually deal with that advantage they had. There was that one rogue player around in the kitchen and the dining area, which they basically took as 2 single 1v1s and then just decided to abandon completely. So that's what lost them the round there. Just that one gunfight. You would have had the extra player. You didn't have to worry about anybody coming out from below. You had the opportunity to just overwhelm that player into the corner. I mean, you might kill 1, you might kill 2, but 3 might be a bit much with a 26-round magazine in that 4.16. So, a 3-3 split. MNM, they definitely did better than we might have expected after the first 2 rounds. Now they're going over to the defense themselves. Let's see if they can make the difference here. There's a mirror to be brought out. Operator, do not see very often anymore, even though she is unbanned quite a lot.
Well, if we didn't see any hard breach from one team, we're getting a bigger taste of it on the other. That is a pretty classic lineup, as weird as it is to sort of say. There, the double hard breach, the Thatcher, the roll round with Nico and the Nomad, which, to be fair, you don't see a huge amount compared to how she sort of used to be set up within the meta.
No, definitely not. And I mean, to be honest, we have a lot of operators that do a lot of things now. So
we do.
At some point,
that's on the box.
Yeah, that's on the box.
Rainbow Six Siege. We have a lot of operators that do a lot of things now.
It's a unique selling point. But yeah, other operators kind of took our place a little bit in that previous meta. So interesting to see whether or not Nomad will be making more of an appearance now, especially with other guns being more viable again. Jaeger can be a roamer again.
Wow. They're going to be roaming around with the Frost on the top floor. The hold, obviously, it's worth mentioning. If there was changes before, it's also down deep in the basement. They got the first wall cracked open, but since then, this is how a lot of teams like to hold it. They have the couple of players there. There's many routes to rotate their way down, and the first one to suffer. He did do a bit of his exothermic job. They have more than enough in their pockets to do the rest of the work. But it's still a huge loss as well on a player, just on a swing round on the balcony door. Solotov still up top as well, waiting for the drones en route, but there's a hatch to drop down if he needs it. There's a route away from all of this.
Now you see the suppressor quite a lot, actually, as that's a C4. You should have moved!
He went for the fight instead. He thought he could take the man before they pressed the key, but evidently not.
Well, luckily we have another player with a suppressor, so I can still continue the point to some extent. They do no longer have a damage debuff. That's why you see them a lot more now, actually. So they hide the tracers as they come in. So if you get the drop on someone, they might be confused. Now, back to the actual round. Now, unfortunate there, losing your life to a nitrocell that you clearly see, hoping you could get the player before the Nokia phone was pressed.
Now, as I said, they have the hatch on the other side if they want to take the drop here. He's got the impact ready in pocket, but he's not opening it until the fight has come through. The attention is being paid pretty intently towards the breakdown here on West Main. You can see there's some ideas of curiosity, the role of the exothermic, and the role of that as well. We'll get the breach opened, just put together, and now they're going to go around to the red wall. The most important part of this is to try and suck that kid in. I'm not sure if the hatch is solid or not, but with only 3 players and all of them downstairs, it's open, and that's going to turn risky.
Yeah, but they need all players on site that they currently have. They cannot afford to have someone up above to make sure that they have that cover, because someone needs to watch the pillar, someone needs to watch blue, and at the same time there is still going to be yokais about, which will be taken out. Users though will find one, Solotov picks up another, and it's only up to Emission now as he finds one. The hatch is soon to be coming into play as well here. We'll find that player somehow boots it back into a 3v1. The mirror window's open. There's someone on literally every single other door, but somehow he will still find one. Doesn't see the battle. Somehow does quad kill. Up for an ace, 5 seconds on the board! Oh! What? I did not expect that to happen at all.
Emission! Out of nowhere! Handed every single MNM player like it was a tea hunt.
I literally thought, okay, he gets that first. The second one, it will be over. Okay, maybe not then, but surely the blue player will get him. No, then the player that's hopped up. No, also not. Then time was about to run out, but the ace to come through, I did not see that coming. That literally came out of nowhere. Is that a 1v5? That's a 1v5 clutch. It was a 1v5 clutch.
Hold as the opener for MNM to that. And don't get me, like, all credit to Emission for an ace clutch, always, 100%.
Yes,
but
definitely.
you have to have questions for what MNM were doing there.
Okay, that's first of all too aggressive.
The second, this one, maybe he had intel. He seemed very set up for it.
They had drones.
They had drones. So there's a catch, Emission. And then it's a 3 versus 1, like 10 seconds on the board.
Why are you peeking?
Pre-fires the angle, caught in a Banshee.
Spots the player there, swings him.
It's fantastic from Emission. It is absolutely fantastic from Emission. But MNM, what?
Look, every single player there made mistakes to some extent, except for maybe the last 2, because they were trying to hide. They were trying to play the time there, just not quickly enough. But it's a 1v5. You don't need to go for the swings 1 by 1. You just wait until that plant goes down, and that's the moment when you strike. But Emission, he played that perfectly. He managed to find every single one of those players in a very, very unexpected ace clutch there.
I mean, okay, let's see where this starts to go next. Emission, you've now got the impact DMP. You might be the first one to use it as well after pulling in on our opening day an ace clutch, the first I've seen in a very, very long time. Holding with Oster Shield. There's a take round onto the first. The second is on the second story. How much they're going to overextend here, MNM. They're hopefully, after that team talk, going to play themselves a little cards close to the chest. But at the same time, most of that round, in fact, the opening 2 minutes and 40 seconds was great from MNM.
I mean, it was all great up until the 1v5, and then suddenly it all fell apart. So, to be honest, their defense looked really good. And if they managed to waste a lot of time, I mean, they've already wasted a minute. What they might not know, though, is that Pantry has been breached. There's that small line of sight that they can use to look down upon any player that's out there. So, if Neo goes back and they do have drone information, that might be a free kill for TT9.
Well, there's the wait on the next, and again, a swing round just to sort of keep the statement, the awareness that we're up here, we're a problem you have to deal with. Are they going to try and deal with it? They're putting some focus now towards the chance at a quick, cheeky plant. There is only the single player inside. That drone got caught out by the mute jammer. Neo can survive for now, but this grenade, it's going to do some busy work and take care of... Well, potentially. Oh no, it's the flashbang air in the pocket. I thought he wanted to grenade the hole. Instead, he goes for the flash. Solotov's now stacked up as well, holding onto the corner itself. Sorry, without the operator icon, sometimes you get a bit lost, but Usus isn't. Finds the double over the top. Easy pickup there inside the library window. There's Exodus rotating around on the stairs. Just sees the tail end of a player. The pings are continual. Tyrant, he's shown the door by Emission. 50 seconds.
There's another jump in to come through. Exodus will be trying to find his way onto the site, though, but the diffuser has been dropped up above. And as Exodus gets shut down, it's a mission in a 1v3 situation right here. Is he going to be clutching up again for his team this time? A little bit more time. 37 seconds. Surely, though, that tactical timeout will tell them to be a little bit more passive in these kind of situations. He will be able to find a first and will connect the shots as well. Knows about a second player as well. The diffuser still dropped upstairs, so he will have to go up at some point, sooner rather than later. But he first wants to take the fight onto the actual player on the side. Digging in deep. They're playing this massively. They don't want to go for any swings. And this time it will be Neo that locks it out. No more clutch for Mission, at least not now. And with that MNM, they will be able to put another round on the board and extend their lead.
If he had done it twice in a row,
honestly,
you just...
I would go insane.
But it's a 4-4. He was the
Yes.
first player to use the pocket EMPs in Tier 1 League play. He used them. Saw them both. 0 in the pocket. Congratulations, Emission. Put that in the Wikipedia.
Not the ace clutch. No. Just the impact.
You can put both in.
Okay.
If you want.
Twitter bio or
Twitter
Wikipedia?
bio, Wikipedia. Get it edited in. We're back down to the basement here. We've got a slight difference. Ash is in the pockets this time. No double heart breach for now, at least. None of the roll on the attempt on Thatcher. It seems like they want to try and get themselves in potentially with a little bit more aggression instead of going for the setup, plant, and play. Because to be fair, the setup wasn't working. That's where all the parts and pieces fell apart for them. Again, slight differences on the other side as well. MNM, they've got some control of the drones. Solotov, Mozzie saw a bit of a drop-off in terms of play, but this is a team that had some of the stats, that ones that Jack was putting on the timeline around the play of operators. Mozzie was a big drop-off, but MNM were one of those teams that brought him.
And is brought again to see if any information can be stolen from TT9, because they do have a lot of drones on the actual side. They might not win all these gunfights, but they generally have an idea of where everybody's coming from. Just look back at round 7 as an example. Knew exactly someone was coming up on that hatch, for example, because of these drones being in position. And Mozzie might help out a little bit, hijacking some of these drones, stopping them from reaching certain locations at the very same time as well. Now it's used as a bit of a flank watch to some extent for the roamer itself. Drones cannot go through as it's placed in the middle of the hallway, so extra drones are being sent through. You see there in the middle of the ground, we'll catch that drone, which means they don't have the information. Yeah, the mission still wins. He doesn't need information.
He doesn't need it. A mission. He's on a heater, and you can't blame him with the energy that was put before him, and now he's going to make sure he can ride that and keep TT9 riding into this game. Tyrant, he's on the back line, just sort of darting towards the curiosity at what's down underneath him and what might be coming flat on, but a mission with the chance at the 2-story devastation here over the top of Fireplace is keeping this. That's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate now. Needs to go to a different avenue here. Spots out of Malusi. We'll find him as well with another headshot. The mission is an absolute fire right here ever since that ace clutch. Was on 3 kills right before that. Now completely a different man in this game here. Uses next to a window. Is he aware though that he's about to be swung? Window is about to be opened up, gives him an opportunity. Oh, there's pings. They know exactly where he is. That's going to be the pre-fire. However, User still wins out on him.
Yeah, he did a pre-fire of his own. Mission. No. This is a man who's eating his steak for breakfast. He is ready and raring to go onto the TT9 banner, and I'm sure these players are making them very happy for picking up this AUG, a 4 versus 2. Now we know on this site, well enough, it's not over till it's over. It's down to TT9 to see if they can just try and lock out that final bit of pressure. Just misses the full bite out of the mirror. She is able to slink away. Both of them are stacked up here against the single standing wall, but will not be standing much longer. You can see the pressure's starting to bounce its way back. 40 seconds, is able to find their way through round onto blue. Past the player holding onto the stair set. A slight separation. The roll of the drones. TT9, where's the approach coming from? Right towards the feet of Nello. He goes down super low as well, but a great connection around to WTG on the dance onto the hatch itself. The swing onto blue doesn't quite connect. It's a mission and Scyther.
A mission with a quad kill again. He's just on a different level right now, and with that, TT9, they regain that lead into this game. Now having the opportunity to push themselves towards a map point. Towards that 6th round here in round 10. If they do manage to do so again, they will be finding themselves with the upper hand over MNM. Something they have found themselves consistently. A 7-2 victory, an 8-7 victory, and now in the making, potentially a 7-4, something like that, because TT9, especially Emission, has been activated throughout this game.
I mean, Emission has been activated, no two ways about that.
Yes.
From an ace clutch start to where he is now, that's at least 10 kills, I believe, over the 3 rounds. But every single round now that TT9 take, if you're MNM after what happened on that ace clutch situation, surely all you're thinking is horrible thoughts. Because you're in that position of we should have won that. And that is that sort of overbearing feeling that comes down throughout a game. It permeates itself over the rounds that happen. Every single engagement now is a frustration built on the back of the biggest frustration of all. TT9 1 round away from securing at least a point from this showdown here on their attack on Chalet. They have a bit of a breeze of momentum. They have a bit of this energy, and my God, they have Emission. And that is just an army right now.
One-man army walking through. It's the G36 to come through, not the R4C. It's currently running right here. A lot of suppressors, actually, onto the TT9 squad. And as they slowly push through, the drones are clearing the way. Emission definitely on the entry duty right now. No, he's strong currently, so they want to abuse that to the very last drop of it.
I mean, when was the last time you saw an Ashe leading the sort of frag game of a game?
It's a couple of months ago, years ago even.
Has this thrown us back with the change of the recoils here? The pressure starts to come through on the top. Once again, TT9, they have a lot of this fury. MNM have used their tac timeout just previously before. Obviously, TT9 had used theirs in the first half, so it's just down to the drive in the game that we have ahead of us. The pressure starts for the swing. Neo's picking up the Echo. We talked about the change of roles that might be happening a little bit between Neo and Nello during this new split. Scythe is the first to suffer a little. There's the sneak through. They've got to see if they can try and shut down the swing players. The close use of the grenades, the breach and the break on anything onto that corner. There goes the ADS. A cacophony of explosions. Emission, can you get the catch on the player behind the bed? There's the pop. There's WTG, but it's generally MNM's favor the swing round here. Emission is still standing, looking for the tailing players. They haven't fully handed it over. Solotov bites back. And it's sort of come to blows a bit over the bedroom. TT9, worse for wear.
Not really a way in now for the side of TT9 until Exodus will find Solotov. That will clear a lot of the pressure, but still Nico stuck onto the back windows here. No, someone is up on the staircases out there. Of course, they do need to go downstairs to the actual kitchen and dining to go for that plant. So MNM, they need to recognize this. They are now in a 3v2. They are in an advantage, but if Tyrant stays in the current position he is and he gets droned out, because we know the information is this good on the side of TT9. No, this time it wasn't. Nico gets picked up, and that's going to be the second to lock it off. Tyrant will find the round for MNM. For a second, I was afraid that this would go back to a 2-on-2, but this time, no information for TT9.
A step back in there. It's trading rounds and blows at this point. MNM, they're getting themselves in the position. The drone game, the intel game that was played so well as the opener from TT9 before. They're trying to find the flaws in it because they know that there's trust. If something's good, you trust it. So you've got to try and be great to break it. Bar Gaming here. Which of these teams are going to be the first to get themselves to map point? Give themselves the opportunity at the full 3 points on this. What is potentially going to turn into one of them 6-point games we love to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if we're looking down later down the line. Well, I don't think MNM is in any danger of like the bottom 2 spots currently, but a lot can still change throughout this stage, and definitely these kind of wins could be those 6-point games at that moment in time. So that is something to keep and pay attention to. MNM still want to find themselves a victory here against TT9, and they need to start that off with winning the very next round, just to put up the pressure onto the Russian team and make sure that they have the map point in their hands. Now that goes both ways. If they lose this, the pressure will be on them. They cannot afford to lose another round, or 3 points will slip beneath their fingers. And as we continue, we are on the other side, Barn and Gaming. And slowly the bedroom is being taken under control right here by TT9. There's no real fight back or, well, any contention whatsoever from MNM.
All right, TT9. I would still say the momentum is potentially in your favor here. Trying to swing round, one last round home. To put yourself into this pressure onto a map that has, I'm going to say, in a lot of other teams' cases, outstayed its welcome with your lost record on the most recent split. Now's the time for new beginnings. No more so than with a new banner flying, probably pretty proudly over your heads. The attention paid its way around towards the top of blue stairs. We talk about this being a sort of synergetic position. You've got the player out onto the pillar and the fireplace. You've got the one that is their support structure, and TT9's just trying to cut them off the old traditional way. Start here with the break over the other side of the top. Maybe some attention onto the windows, and currently actually fully formed around the bedroom.
Slowly but still opening up the site. The floors, taking care of some PC utility and finding information. All still preparative work coming down. Grenades being tossed down range. Flashbangs actually to get rid of any potential projectile catching device. Now the shield will be taken care of. That means they can now actively take a fight onto the blue stairs. WTG is still afraid though of someone being next to that fireplace shaft onto the mezzanines right here. And he's not wrong because Tyrant is on there. And Solotov will find that very first kill. MNM finds yet another.
Wow, there it is. Suddenly, in the blink of an eye, they've lost two big players there, Nico and Amision, both off the board early here. MNM's just gone for the swing before it became a problem. Tyrant survives by the skin of his teeth. They're able to find another one there. It's a fight onto the door. Scyther finally ends it, but there's another swing round. Solotov is able to get one more for the trouble. Exodus, all that's left, back in the position. He gives the game away with a couple of preemptive pops. But with the kit a few steps into the location, the yellow ping on this player, he wants to try and win the first, tries to bait the movement, there it is, but they're not fully forming it. It's a swing from Nello, and it's a map point from MNM.
Oh, it's good to see MNM definitely learned from that clutch from Amision earlier on. They're playing it more passively now. They're not trying to swing everything they can at the moment they have such a big advantage. So, you know, it should never happen, a 1v5 clutch. It happened once, MNM, they learned of it, fair enough. But if they don't win this next round, then it's definitely costing them massively here. As it could have been a 7-4 victory at this point if they would have just been passive enough. And Wine and Snowmobile is coming up next as potentially the final sight of this game tonight. 3 men stuck in the door is unfortunate there. So a lot of traffic through that area. Now, MNM need to be flawless here. They cannot afford a mistake. Otherwise, they will be going towards overtime. But at the same time, TT9, if they mess up their round, they'll be losing out on every single point they could possibly get out of this matchup today.
If MNM get anything less than full points at this point, that round, you know which round I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that round
that's the reason
is
why.
going to haunt them for the whole season.
Imagine you're going to be a point short at the end of the stage for making it to the major. You're going to be looking back. It's the very first play day, round 7. That you thought you had in the bag, and you went a bit too aggressive. You became a bit too confident. And suddenly you find yourself Amision, who shuts you all out one by one. That'd be the reason why.
TT9, one more opportunity here to try and push it over. It wasn't so much the last split that they were entirely pushed aside during their games. They were close, but close is the difference between being at the bottom of the board and being at a major. And the fact that they can put so much of a fight into MNM, who were at the most recent major, it does spell at least some promise for the potential of them to be eyeing up one of those spots. Solotov, he's holding off here towards the Solarium window, waiting for the approach round onto the bedroom, waiting for the swing here. It's Exodus, a little bit isolated, who is also waiting for his own support structure onto the double window itself. Amision wants to go for the swing at the same time. It's a pre-fire round, did a little bit of damage to Solotov. He's tucked tail, just behind, and pulled himself to a bit of safety, slipped away.
Still alive, still around though on the bedroom, trying to put up some pressure. Tyrant also coming over now towards the half wall just to make sure there is some extra protection as Nello goes for a jump out. Will fight Scyther, but somehow gets down. I'm not sure if there was a Claymore or something else that injured him there, but he's outside and will not be picked up, so surely he's going to be dealt with at well due moment. Flashbangs to come in, WTG to go aggressive, gets downed, and will eventually be locked up by Tyrant.
Yeah, threw it as a bit of a gambit and hoped he'd force the run and tried to run into it before they were both blinded, but I mean, you're flipping a coin. You never really know how it's going to pop up. There's a bit of a swing and an attention round on the far side. You can see Nello is obviously still down outside as well. Being in that position, well, It's an easy pickup there. Exodus gets the lock-in, and it was going to be a very tricky pickup if MNM had tried to go for the saving grace route. 4 versus 3. Just over a minute left here. Emission with the route down, potentially through onto the site itself. Nico might try and go for the hold out. That's an air jab that, well, I mean, it should get removed, but the player does. They had no idea Solotov was there.
Exodus now going on the chase down the back stairs, hoping to make a difference for his team because they're so close to points. He will not find the first. It's Solotov that will lock him off, and it's only up to Emission, who else, to try and lock this off. He will find the first again. He needs to find 3 more. He does have the diffuser this time around, so he's just heading right to the side, but he needs to be careful as someone is coming down the staircase. It's not just 1, but it's 2. It's users that will find him, and it's going to be the 3 points for MNM. They will be victorious here against TT9, but it got so close.
I mean, it did, and it was closer than it should have been by a lot of people's scoreboards in 2 different reasons. MNM suffered a couple of rounds, but you cannot deny TT9 definitely showed up throughout this game. They leave with nothing today.